Hi, I'm Nomi. I'm an indie author from Canada, and I'm writing a paranormal soap opera called Passions. Yes, it is based on Passions, the NBC soap opera of the same name that ran from 1999 to 2008. But more specifically, it's based on the SIMS story that I wrote from 2010 to 2013 that was based on the soap opera Passions. It's a little confusing. I have videos explaining what I'm talking about, and you might want to go back and check those out before diving into this one. But if you want to come along on a journey with me, because I don't remember what this episode is about at all, see if it's for you and then go back and watch the other videos. This is episode 3 of the Sims version of Intense Feelings. All I know before we go into this is 2 things. 1, we're really getting into the lore. The lore be loring in this episode. And if I remember correctly, how it opens is odd. Creative. Say that. 2, get a lot more backstory on Charlotte and Leif, who were teased the tiniest amount in the novel, but actually become a couple in the Sims version. So for those Leif and Charlotte stands out there, this one's for you. Other than that, I really don't know what we're about to read. Do I script my videos? No. I am much better to just sit down and wing it. I'm literally reading this on my iPad as I'm talking to you and just reacting in real time. So a lot of this stuff I don't remember, and we can experience it together. So without further ado, episode 3 of Intense Feelings, the Sims version. So everyone's losing their minds because Leif is dying on the dance floor. Nina's screaming no again, because that's, like I told you, it's a theme in this story. Everyone's screaming no all the time like they're Darth Vader. Charlotte's like, where'd Devlin go? Buddy's gone, left her alone. Mayhem in the club. Everyone's running and screaming, looking for the exit, just like freaking out, trying to get out of there. Again, Leif's dying. He's not doing well. And Nina is just like her character in the book and kind of not the brightest bulb in the box. And how does she react to her brother getting mortally wounded? She collapses and faints. The lighthouse. Where am I? Nina wondered dreamily. Is this Blake and Tyler's private beach? Then things started to come into focus, sort of hazy and like a dream. There were ruins. Who dares to enter the dreamscape? Came a voice unlike anything Nina had ever heard. Oh, this is good. It slithered on the wind, cold and misty. Good work, past me. Now, Nina doesn't see this phantom. She's just like, who's there? And apparently she's an angel. I don't really know what's going on with that. And she keeps hearing this voice and it starts to make her mad. So she's like, what? Who are you? What's going on here? And then on the wind, she hears, go in. So she does. She goes into the ruins in her angel outfit. There's a great waterfall that makes no sound. And in fact, there's no sound at all except Nina's own footsteps. And she starts to wonder, am I dead? I mean, she is dressed as an angel, so it's a kind of a logical assumption to come to. But then the little voice guy is like, this is not death. This is the dreamscape. Nina's like, okay, well, someone's over there. Hello? So she sees this man who's dressed like in a top hat and tails, and he's going into the jungle through the other entrance. There's another entrance to the ruins. He leaves through there and goes into the jungle. And she's like, wait. He doesn't stop. So she's like, okay, I guess I'll follow him. But the minute she steps out of the ruins, she transforms. Her beautiful white outfit and flower crown and angel wings gone. The wind slowed and Nina looked down. Her white dress had been replaced with a black one. Her hair was darker. She felt afraid. I don't really know what this symbolizes. But she's still like, okay, well, anyway, I'm going to follow that guy because I think I'm dead. He falls onto the ground and she's like, whoa, what's happening here? She's overcome with this, like, huge sadness just crushing her chest, and she's like, why do I feel this way? I don't even know who that is. And then she sees the phantom and it screams at her, and it's like, stay away from him. Nina screamed and stumbled backwards. Stay away, the cat-like voice commanded again. Cat-like voice. Stay away. What does that mean? I don't know. Anyway, Nina's like, what are you? And it leans in really close and it's like, you have seen what you came to see. Now leave this place. Nina's like, I don't understand anything that's going on right now. And she questions, she's like, who are you? The being says, I have no name. Now be gone. It leapt into the air, and in a blinding flash of light and white smoke, it was gone. Nina sputtered and felt dizzy and like the forest was dissolving around her, and then she woke up. She's like barely coming to, and she's like, huh? And then she's like, Blake? Blake, is it you? Do you love me? But it's Tyler, and he's like, hey girl. And she's like, I had the weirdest dream. And she starts to kind of come to, and she's like, hey, whoa, wait a minute. What happened to Leif? What's going on? Why am I here? What the heck is happening? Tyler's like, it's okay. He's at the hospital. He's alive. It's all okay, Nina. Don't worry. Then Jay runs in, who again, in this version, is kind of like a second big brother to her. And he's just like, oh, she's awake. Like, oh my gosh. He takes her into his arms. He explains that he went to the hospital with Leif and there's nothing they can do right now. He's in surgery and they just need to hold tight until they get the all clear, but it's looking good. While Jay is comforting Nina, Tyler's like, I should go check on my drunk brother. Blake's lying in bed feeling like he wants to throw up. And Tyler's like, well, that sucks. But you know what? Your girlfriend's downstairs bawling her eyes out because her brother just got shot. So maybe you should go take care of that. And Blake's like, oh, I guess. Okay, fine. I'll go. He kind of staggers down the stairs and Nina's like, Blake, Leif got shot. He's like, oh, it's okay, babe. Don't worry. Don't. Everything's great. So while that's happening, I'm sorry, by the way, Jay, what is Jay wearing? I'm just noticing this now. You know, I really thought all these outfits were super normal back in 2010. I'm just studying it. I'm just taking it apart. Can we just look at this together and examine everything that's happening? Okay, moving on. He approaches Harlow and he's like, hey, are you okay? And she's not. She's like, I don't know. And she just starts to cry. And Jay, who's a nice person, is like, oh, it's okay. And she's like, get away from me. He's just like, I wanted just to comfort you. I'm not trying, like, what a reaction. She's like, you are no help to me. You make me feel worse, if anything. And he's like, I'm sorry. And then Harlow leaves. She's like, I'm going to go home. Nina is like taken care of. I'm really upset. I'm leaving. Then Jay's like, I guess I'm going too, because Nina's with Blake. There's no reason for me to be here anymore, and I'm going to have to go check on Leif eventually at some point. So he says goodbye to Tyler, and Jay leaves as well. Upstairs, Nina and Blake are getting ready for bed. She has a drawer that's hers in his room, so she just changes into some of her pajamas and does her hair. Now, I want everyone to appreciate something. I took the time to get hairstyles that all looked similar enough that, you know, this could be Nina in a ponytail, and this could be Nina with her hair curled, and this could be Nina with her hair down. I worked really hard to make that seem realistic. Also, pretty much every girl is going to have a transformation or makeover at some point. Harlow's hair grows throughout the course of the story. It goes to different lengths slowly over time. This was all a conscious thought, and I really want you guys to appreciate that because it was a lot of work. Moving along. Nina puts her hair in a ponytail, and Blake comes over and is actually a good boyfriend for 0.5 seconds and gives her a hug and is like, let's go to bed, babe. Like it's been a big night. Let's just go to bed. So they do. Cute little. So they do. Meanwhile, Charlotte gets home and she's like, Devlin, where are you? He's fully chillaxing and he's just like, what took you so long to get home? It's crazy late. Where you been? She's like, I've been at the police station for 2 hours. She is absolutely freaking out. But as an aside, the framing of this shot, like, she's so mad. And she's like, when you're going to shoot someone, could you please just include me on that plan so that I know that someone's going to get shot at my party? Devlin's like, hold on. What are you talking about? Who got shot? And Charlotte's like, you know, don't be an idiot. Don't play dumb. Like, I know what you did. Devlin's like, I didn't do anything. I left after I accidentally bumped into Nina because I didn't want her figuring out who I was, so I took off. And Charlotte's like, but if you didn't shoot Leif, then who did? And Devlin's like, I'd like to shake his hand, whoever he is. But then he starts to think, who hates Leif Callahan more than me? Charlotte goes to get ready for bed, feeling super depressed and confused. And she's like, I don't know what's going on, but this has to end. Next morning, Nina goes to the hospital to check on her brother. She goes to the welcome desk and is told that the surgeon wants to speak with her. Upstairs, Leif is healing at a crazy accelerated rate. His nurse comes in and is like, you're doing exceptionally well. I don't think we're discharging you today, but you're going home pretty soon. Then the door opens. Leif's like, oh, that's probably my sister. But who walks in? But Charlotte Ainsworth, who has different hair because she styled it differently today. Just pointing it out. And Leif reacts appropriately. He's like, Charlotte? Then the nurse says, oh, I guess this isn't your sister. Who is it, your girlfriend? And Charlotte, the prettiest sim I've ever made. Okay, anyway. She says, no, we're just friends. The nurse is on my level because she says, well, Leif has some pretty friends. And I agree. Leif panics, scrambles up in his bed, and he's like, what are you doing here? Charlotte's just like, I'm so sorry. I should have let you know when I was coming. Like, I'm in a tizzy. I didn't sleep last night. I'm so upset about this. I don't know what happened, and I'm so sorry that this happened at my party. And Leif's like, it's okay. It's not your fault. And he's so confused. While this is happening, Nina's meeting with the doctor. This scene is exactly the same as in the novel. Like, I'm reading it and it looks like I lifted the dialogue almost word for word. But the doctor basically says that he's doing really well and he's healing faster than is expected or normal. And that they can't find a bullet or an exit wound or any evidence that he was shot with a gun at all. He's then like, I think he was shot with air. And Nina's just like, what? Back up in Leif's room, Charlotte and Leif are talking. Charlotte just keeps apologizing and basically saying she feels so guilty and that she's taking the blame for this. And Leif's just confused and feels unsafe around her. He's not really sure why she's there or why she's so apologetic. She starts to say something but can't quite get it out. And Leif gets up out of the bed and asks her, what were you about to say? She says, I can't talk about it here. Can we meet somewhere when you're better? Leif's like, I guess. And she says, okay, great. Here's my phone number. I'll be in touch. And she leaves. Then Nina shows up and she gives her brother a big hug and she's like, how are you doing? Then their conversation just amounts to her telling him that she's going to make him cookies. And he decides not to tell her that he just saw Charlotte. A little different from the book. Meanwhile, Devlin is wearing a very cool outfit, standing on the front of his house smoking a cigarette when Charlotte gets home from the hospital. She's disgusted. She hates his smoking. And she's like, are you waiting for me? And he's like, you told me not to smoke in the house, so I'm not smoking in the house. And she's like, okay, thanks. Anyway, I was shopping. They are so brother and sister in this version. Like, they go from hugging it out to fighting it out constantly. Then Devlin is like, okay, whatever. I need you to come up to my office. So he sits down at his 2010 MacBook, which look at that thing. And he's blabbering on to her about how his theories about who shot Leif when she's not really paying attention. She's just kind of looking out the window. And she's just hoping that Leif's okay. A few days pass and Leif's at home. I made those bandages that he's wearing. So just saying. I made custom content for the game and I will point it out every time I did. Nina's busy making his cookies when Harlow gets there. Nina's like, don't get up, I'll get it. And Leif's like, I'll get it, it's fine. Harlow's like, oh, are you okay? Like, they have a little reunion. So then Jay comes downstairs and he's like, hey, wait a minute. When he answers the door without a shirt on, he gets a hug, but I get screamed at. And Harlow is immediately angry. She's like, he is injured. You're a pervert. There's a difference. Nina's like, I can't listen to these two go at it. Like, it's been a rough time for me. I'm going back to my cookies. Leif runs over to her while the other two are still fighting in the background and says, look, actually, if you haven't started making the cookies yet, I said I'd meet a friend for lunch. Nina's like, oh, okay, but you just came home from the hospital. Like, do you think you should be going out for lunch? Leif's like, it's fine. I'll be back later and we can have our cookies then. And if you notice in the background, I think Harlow's slapping Jay in the face. A shudder went down Leif's spine as he approached the very same building wherein he had been shot. because I didn't want to build multiple sets. So the club and the diner he's going to are in the same place, because I did a lot for this story, okay? Like, I didn't want to keep... Rightfully, he wonders why Charlotte picked this place to come to when he just got shot a couple of doors down a couple of nights ago. So he's looking around and he's like, where is she? And then he looks over and finds Charlotte, who gets her disguising skills from her brother. And he's like, why are you wearing a disguise? And she says, I just don't know if we should be seen together right now. And Leif's like, okay, so why did we meet in a public... You know what? It doesn't matter. Why are we here? And Charlotte shuts her eyes and says nothing. Leif's like, Charlotte? Then her mouth opens and a never-ending stream of words falls out. She says, all that stuff that Devlin did to you, Leif, I never wanted to be a part of it. I don't know what she's talking about. I never did. He made me help him. I always just wanted peace between us. Truthfully, I always liked you and Nina. I was friends with Nina secretly for a while until the pressure and the stress became too much. When? When did that happen? I don't know what she's talking about. I can't apologize for my brother. I can't apologize for the way he behaved. I can only say that I'm deeply, truly sorry for letting myself be swayed by him. Her voice trembled then. She tried to keep her composure as she plowed on ahead. I can't explain the bond we have, or had. Devlin has always had a sort of power over me, and to be honest, I never felt better than when he went to Europe. I stayed in hiding all this time. I couldn't bear to face any of you. But I ask you now, please, Leif, if you can, please forgive me. Leif's completely flabbergasted, as am I. I really don't know what just happened, but he's just like, I don't even know what to say. And then Charlotte starts to cry, because she's always crying. Leif's always angry. Harlow's always angry. Charlotte's always crying. And someone's screaming, no! Leif's like panicking now. He's like, it's okay, Charlotte, I forgive you. And Charlotte just freaks out, so she can't do this and goes to run out of the diner. Leif's like, what is happening? And he gets up and runs after her. And he's like, Charlotte. She runs down an alley. She's like, leave me alone. And he can feel his stitches pulling, but he still chases her. She's like, I said, don't follow me. He's going to find out. And Leif's like, wait a second. Who is he? What is he going to find out? What are you talking about? Charlotte's like, I shouldn't have said that. Then she throws her arms around him and kisses him. Me too, Leif. I'm also that's how I also feel about that. Then she pushes him away and she's like, I'm sorry. I'm so embarrassed. I don't know what came over me. Leif's like, it's okay. And then Charlotte's like, your wound, are you okay? And he's like, to be honest, I don't think so. They go back to the diner. Leif goes to the bathroom and takes off his shirt. I made this custom content too. Apparently Charlotte came in the bathroom with him, and she's like, oh, come back to my house. I wanted to be a nurse. I can stitch you up. Leif's like, come to the Ainsworth house? Like, really? And she's like, it's okay. Just come on. I can patch you up. No worries. Let's go. So as they approach the Ainsworth house, Leif is like, oh man, you guys are so rich. Little does he know how rich they are in the book, but she goes upstairs and primps and is like, oh, okay, now I look good. And she gets her stuff. Meanwhile, Leif is still sitting downstairs on the couch and he's just like super uncomfortable. He's like, why am I here? Then Charlotte shows back up and she gets to work fixing him up. She re-stitches him and re-bandages him and he's looking great, feeling good. And he thanks her and he's super worried she's going to start crying again or do something else completely weird. So he's just kind of like trying to appease her and keep her from crying or doing something weird. But she doesn't cry. She just sort of smiles at him and she's like, I'm glad I could help. I'm sorry that I made you bleed. And then it says that he really looked at her for the first time and she was undoubtedly beautiful. This is not the best picture of her though. But what I wrote is, she was undoubtedly beautiful, but he'd never known anything about her. She was Devlin's shadow, always clinging to the hem of his coat with her eyes full of tears. With Devlin gone, was she coming out of her shell? Who would she turn out to be? And then Leif's like, hey girl, what are you doing Saturday? But then, Charlotte! Devlin yells as he comes in the door. Leif's like, who is that? And Charlotte's like, uh-oh, he's back. Leif's like, you don't mean Devlin, she hissed. And if you don't hide right now, he's gonna kill you. Leif's like, I thought he was in Europe. Ahem! Devlin barked, thundering into the room. Would you mind telling me exactly what's going on here? Roll credits. So that was episode 3 of the Sims version of Intense Feelings. Episode 4 is the really long one that I had mentioned that was so long LiveJournal wouldn't let me post it in one post. I had to split it into 2. I'm going to just do it in one video though, so the next episode is going to be a long one. So plan for that. Make a snack, get a drink, get a comfy blanket, settle in, and enjoy. Thank you as always for watching. I really hope you'll subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, let me know what you liked, what you didn't like, if some of the differences in the story from the book to The Sims has blown your mind. I'd love to hear about that. I love to hear your guys' feedback, and I will probably comment back to you if you do leave a comment because I like to just interact with you guys. So anyway, comment, subscribe, the whole YouTube thing, and I will catch you guys in the next episode.